Let me start with a statement that might sting a little. The men women chase the hardest are often the ones who don't even treat them like they matter. Yeah, read that again. Now, I'm not saying that all women are attracted to disrespect, that's not the point. But there's a deep psychological pattern at play here, and if you don't understand it, you'll keep doing everything right and still get left behind by the very woman you thought you were winning over. Welcome to the channel where we decode female psychology and break down what really goes on in the dating game. No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk. Today's topic is one that hits hard for a lot of men because it exposes something most guys don't want to accept. That being the nice guy, the giver, the one who places her on a pedestal, can actually work against you. While you're thinking loyalty, commitment, and effort will win her heart, she's often more drawn to the man who couldn't care less. Now, before you get defensive, this isn't about bashing women. This is about understanding the raw truth of attraction and emotional response. It's about recognizing how desire isn't logical. It's emotional, instinctual, and often triggered by challenge, uncertainty, and dominance. A man who doesn't value a woman in the way society says he should, meaning he doesn't chase, doesn't overinvest, and isn't desperate for her validation, ironically becomes more desirable. That doesn't mean you should be cruel, manipulative, or cold. It means you need to stop overvaluing women who haven't earned your value. Because the more you show that your entire world revolves around her, the less intrigued, excited, or even attracted she feels. In this video, I'm going to break down why this happens and what it means for you as a man in today's dating world. By the end of this, you'll either keep doing what's not working or wake up and play the game right. 1. She's drawn to the one who's hard to control. Let's get real. If a woman can completely predict your next move, control your emotions, or make you jump just because she blinked a certain way, she's going to lose attraction fast. This is something many good men don't understand. They believe that being completely open, fully available, and emotionally transparent is the way to a woman's heart. But in reality, that level of emotional exposure, especially too soon, can backfire. Now, this doesn't mean you should be cold or play childish games. It means that if a woman feels like she can steer you, lead you, or emotionally dominate you, something switches off in her attraction system. Women don't fantasize about controlling men. They fantasize about captivating men they can't control. Picture this. A woman meets two men at different times. One is extremely polite, always available, constantly checking in, asking her how she's feeling, what she wants, and making sure he never upsets her. The second guy is grounded. He listens, but doesn't bend over backward. He speaks directly, says what he means, and doesn't chase. He's not rude. He's just unbothered. The first guy makes her feel safe. The second guy makes her feel something stronger, a pull, a curiosity, an urge to earn more of his attention. The truth is, being too good too soon can make a woman feel like there's no edge, no tension, no challenge. She feels like she already has you, without effort. And if she didn't have to work for it, why would she value it? A man who's hard to control holds his ground. He has emotional discipline. He's not moved by a woman's mood swings or silent treatments. He doesn't fold just because she's upset. That presence alone creates mystery, and that mystery keeps her emotionally engaged. She wants to understand him, connect with him, win him, because he's not giving her everything on a silver platter. 2. Validation chasers get disqualified. First, let's be honest. Most women can smell desperation from a mile away, and nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who constantly seeks her approval. When you're always chasing her validation, you communicate one loud message. You don't see yourself as the prize. This is where a lot of men go wrong. They confuse effort with value. They think the more compliments they give, the more attention they shower, the more consistently they pursue, the more likely she is to choose them. But here's the reality. If a woman doesn't already see your worth, no amount of validation seeking will make her feel it. In fact, it does the opposite. It convinces her she's out of your league. A man who seeks constant reassurance from a woman, "Did you miss me? What are you thinking about? Do you still like me?" is not being emotionally transparent. He's being emotionally insecure, and that insecurity sends a silent signal that he doesn't believe in his own value unless she confirms it. When you chase validation, you're placing her on a pedestal and putting yourself beneath it. That imbalance ruins attraction. Because deep down, women don't want to feel like the king in the dynamic. They want to admire the man they're with. And if you're always needing her praise, approval, or emotional reassurance, you're not showing strength. You're showing need. Women respect men who validate themselves. Men who don't need applause to know they're doing well. Men who can stand in silence and still feel grounded. This kind of emotional independence doesn't mean you act distant or detached. It means you lead with self-respect, not approval-seeking. If a woman is truly interested, you won't need to constantly impress her. You won't need to over-explain yourself, chase her attention, or constantly check how she feels. She'll show interest without you having to twist yourself into knots. And if she doesn't, you step back. Because a man who values himself knows he doesn't chase what's unsure about him. He invests in what's clear. In the modern dating world, men who need less are more attractive. Not because they're cold or arrogant, but because they've developed the internal strength to walk away from anything that doesn't value them. Women feel that energy, even if they can't explain it. It's calm, it's powerful, it's rare. So, if you've been finding yourself over-texting, constantly wondering how she feels, or adjusting your behavior just to get a positive reaction from her, take a step back. The most attractive thing you can do is stop needing her to validate you and start validating yourself. 3. The more you value her, the less she values you. This might sound backwards, but in modern dating, the more a man overvalues a woman, especially early on, the less she values him. That's the uncomfortable truth a lot of men don't want to hear. It's not that women don't want to be appreciated, they do. But appreciation from a man who hasn't even made her earn it yet? That hits different. It comes off as weak, not romantic. Because what you're saying, without saying it, is that she's special just for existing. That's not attractive. That's lazy pedestal building. Here's what you need to understand. Women value what's rare, what's earned, and what feels secure. So, when a man puts a woman above himself, acts like she's the prize while he's just lucky to be around her, she starts to question his worth. If you don't even make her work for your attention, if you're always available, overly generous, constantly praising her, or showing her more investment than she's shown you, she feels that imbalance, and it slowly kills the attraction. Attraction is built on respect, polarity, and challenge, not on submission. And yes, that includes emotional submission. When you're too soft too soon, when you give her boyfriend energy before she's even decided she wants to be yours, it removes the mystery, the excitement, and ultimately, the desire. You've got to understand that high-value women want a man they can admire. Not a fan, not a simp, not someone who bends at the first sign of beauty. And when you show her that she doesn't need to do anything to earn your time, your resources, or your emotional energy, you've already given away the most valuable part of yourself, your power. Here's what usually happens. The more you give, the less she responds. You chase more, hoping she'll reciprocate, but she pulls away because it feels off. It's not about the actions, it's about the energy. You've made her the center of your world too early. And once that happens, she loses the emotional thrill of earning your attention. A woman wants to feel like she won something valuable. When you overvalue her right away, you rob her of that experience. It's not about playing games. It's about maintaining balance. She has to feel that you're a man with options, a man who values himself more than he values being chosen by her. That's what creates curiosity. That's what keeps her engaged. Bottom line, if you want to be respected and desired, don't give the crown to someone just because she looks good. Keep your frame. Let her earn her place beside you. When she feels like you're not easy to win over because you have standards, that's when she starts valuing you more than any compliment or gift ever could. 4. Validation chasers never win her respect. Let's talk about one of the most common mistakes men make: chasing validation from a woman who hasn't even proven she deserves their attention. This isn't about confidence. This is about neediness dressed up as interest. And women can smell it from a mile away. When you constantly seek her approval, when you need her to like you, to text you back, to compliment you, to tell you you're doing everything right, you're placing your self-worth in her hands. You're not leading the interaction. You're waiting to be told whether you're enough. That's not masculine energy. That's submission in disguise. A woman respects a man who doesn't need her validation to feel secure in who he is. She's drawn to the man who doesn't flinch when she pulls back a little, the one who isn't thrown off when she plays a little hard to get. That guy signals strength. He's grounded. He's not controlled by her mood, her availability, or her reactions. That's attractive. But when you're the man who constantly checks in, double texts, over-explains himself, or keeps proving how nice or different you are, you're putting her in the dominant position emotionally. You're handing her all the power, and that doesn't make her feel safe or excited. It makes her feel like she's leading the connection, and if she has to lead, she can't relax into her feminine. She can't truly admire you. Here's the truth. When you chase her validation, she becomes the one making the emotional decisions, and that's not where true attraction lives. Women don't want to guide you emotionally. They want to feel your presence, not manage your insecurity. So when you act like her opinion of you determines how you see yourself, she stops looking up to you. You become emotionally dependent, and that instantly drops your value in her eyes. You may think you're just being attentive, just showing effort. But what she sees is a man who doesn't know how to hold his own frame. A man who needs her attention more than he needs his own self-respect. And over time, that becomes exhausting for her. The men who keep their dignity, who don't try to impress with constant praise or approval seeking, stand out. They give women the space to feel attraction naturally, not forced by desperation. And ironically, the less you seek her validation, the more likely she is to start chasing yours. So here's the lesson. Validation chasing is a losing game. It flips the polarity and makes her feel like she's the authority in the relationship. But when you pull back, when you stay calm, centered, and unbothered, you show her that you're not here to win her. You're here to choose her if she proves worthy. That energy? That's magnetic. 5. The pull of emotional unavailability. There's something women rarely admit out loud, but it shows up in their actions every single time. Emotionally unavailable men tend to pull them in more powerfully than the ones who are overly available. It sounds toxic, but it's actually rooted in a deep psychological pattern that plays out in the minds of many women, especially in today's dating world. Let's break it down. When a man is emotionally unavailable, he's not pouring out his feelings, not chasing her, not always available at her convenience. He triggers something in her. A curiosity, a challenge, a sense that she hasn't won him yet. And that space between what she wants from him and what he's actually giving her, that's where the obsession starts to grow. Now here's the situation. Imagine a woman meets two men. One is open, emotionally expressive, and eager to show how much he likes her. The other is calm, composed, doesn't rush, and keeps his emotional cards close. Which one do you think she spends more time thinking about? The second one. Always. Why? Because the mystery, the unpredictability, and the slight detachment make her wonder where she stands. And when a woman wonders where she stands, she starts investing emotionally, more than she realizes. That investment creates attachment, and that's where her interest spikes. See, when a man doesn't make his emotions the center of the interaction, he forces her to feel rather than analyze. He becomes the experience, not the explanation. And that difference changes everything. Many women confuse emotional unavailability with confidence. That's why they chase it. But what they're really chasing is the emotional self-control that often comes with it. The man who's not easily rattled, not oversharing, and not trying to lock down a relationship on day one. He stands out in a sea of desperate approval seekers. 6. When respect is earned, not given freely. One of the biggest reasons women chase men who don't seem to value them is this: they're trying to earn his respect. It's not that he's disrespectful or cruel, it's that he doesn't hand out his attention, approval, or admiration just because she's attractive, and that dynamic flips everything. See, most guys treat beauty like it's a qualification. The moment a woman walks in with the right curves, the pretty face, or that confident attitude, too many men fold. They chase, they compliment, they pedestal her without knowing her. And once that happens, the respect she has for that man starts to slip. Why? Because it was too easy. She didn't have to do anything to earn it. But the man who doesn't flinch just because she's hot, the one who looks at her like she's human, not royalty, that's the guy who stands out. That's the guy who makes her want to work for his attention. And yes, that's often the guy she ends up obsessing over. Respect means more when it's earned. Women know this deep down. That's why the guy who doesn't offer it freely becomes a prize in her mind. He has standards. He doesn't fall just because she's pretty. He chooses based on how she treats him, how she behaves, how she shows up. And that forces her to self-reflect. The harder she has to work to feel like she matters to him, the more valuable his validation becomes. That's human psychology 101. What's scarce becomes special. This is where a lot of men miss the mark. They confuse kindness with approval. They confuse attention with attraction. But women aren't wired to desire men who instantly treat them like goddesses. They're wired to feel compelled by men who hold themselves to a higher standard and expect the same in return. The guy who isn't rude, but also isn't overeager. The man who can enjoy a woman's company without needing her validation. The man who listens, but doesn't overshare. He's not mean, he's selective, he's not arrogant, he has self-respect. That subtle difference is everything. When a woman sees that you're not jumping just because she's available, she rethinks her approach. Suddenly, she wants to be seen as more than just her looks. She wants to matter to you, not because she's used to getting it, but because you're not easy to impress. And that's where the emotional hook begins. Now, is this about playing games? Number. It's about understanding value. You don't hand out emotional rewards to someone who hasn't earned your trust. You're not cold, you're just not desperate. That's attractive. Men who operate this way don't chase. They draw women in naturally. Why? Because they carry themselves with quiet authority. And women don't forget how that feels. So, if you're tired of being the guy she likes but doesn't choose, stop giving her everything up front. Let her earn your respect. Let her feel what it's like to wonder where she stands with you. Not in a manipulative way, but in a grounded masculine way. Because when you respect yourself, she has to respect you. And only then will she value you the way you've always wanted. 7. If you overinvest emotionally, she will emotionally check out. Here's where it gets real, and this might sting a bit. Most men don't lose women because they're bad guys. They lose them because they overinvest emotionally while the woman is still uncertain. And that kills attraction faster than you think. Women don't emotionally bond with men who are constantly trying to prove their worth. They bond with men who have emotional discipline. That means men who know when to give, when to hold back, and when to walk away. When you're constantly texting, checking in, validating, complimenting her every move, or over-explaining yourself, you may think you're being thoughtful. But from her point of view, you're giving her everything before she's earned any of it. And just like that, the mystery, the curiosity, the respect, it's all gone. Here's the cold truth. Women don't fantasize about men who pour everything out right away. They fantasize about the men who are present but unpredictable, kind but firm, attentive but not needy. You have to give her space to feel something for you, to wonder, to chase, to reflect. If you're always the one reaching out, where's the space for that? Now, let's be fair. A lot of men overinvest emotionally because they've been conditioned to think it's the good guy move. But you're not meant to be her therapist, her cheerleader, and her emotional support animal before she's even shown you real interest or commitment. This is your wake-up call. Pull back your energy. If she's not giving, you don't give. If she's distant, you match it. Not to punish her, but to protect your value. Because once she senses that you don't need her to validate your emotions, she either steps up or disappears. And either way, you win. The most dangerous man to a woman's emotions is the one who controls his own. He doesn't beg, he doesn't chase, he doesn't break down just because she's unsure. He allows her to feel the void when he's gone, and that's when she starts to realize his true value. So if you're constantly getting ghosted, ignored, or downgraded into the friend zone, ask yourself, have you been giving her too much of your emotional attention too soon? Have you been trying to win her approval instead of letting her earn your presence? Because once you learn to control your emotional investment, you stop chasing women who never saw your worth in the first place. You'll become the man she thinks about when she's alone, wondering why she can't stop missing you. Here's the harsh reality. The more you try to prove your worth to a woman who doesn't value you, the faster she loses interest. And the more you chase, the more she runs. That's not just bad luck, it's psychology. A woman wants to feel your presence, not be overwhelmed by it. She wants to sense that you are valuable, not because you say so, but because you carry yourself like a man who knows he's valuable, with or without her. The moment she senses that you value her more than you value yourself, she emotionally checks out. So here's the controversial truth. Many women only chase the man who doesn't chase them. Not because they want to be mistreated, but because they want to earn the attention of a man who values himself enough not to hand it out for free. And until you embody that mindset, you'll keep getting the same results. If you've been overlooked, disrespected, or rejected by women you gave your all to, it's time to stop blaming them and start checking yourself. Were you chasing? Were you overgiving? Were you investing in someone who gave you nothing back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stories. What clicked for you in this video? What are you going to start doing differently? I'll be down there with you, reading and responding, because this is a conversation worth having. Remember, the man who values himself sets the tone. She either rises to meet you, or she walks away. Either way, you win.